Hi everyone and welcome back to another Bork No Game video. Today's video is DK2 June Clan Battle 2021, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. Now, one of the first things when it comes to this clan battle specifically, Kabuki is definitely a very finicky boss, so if you are planning to pretty much tackle him down, probably want to run a manual team. Now, this is the manual team that I'm personally going to be running. It's nothing too great, it does the job. Technically speaking, I feel like I should be running the auto team because the auto team is a little bit better, but let's go ahead and show you this manual team. Now, I could run the other manual teams, but I don't have Erisa, and Erisa and Suzuna being on like the actual team is probably like the best one, but since I don't have that capability, I'm not personally going to be running it. And as you can see there, you want to avoid hitting like when he turns into that tree thing, because whenever he turns into that tree, he is going to be invincible. So whenever he's in that state, he is taking absolutely zero damage. But just note that when he casts a specific skill, he's also going to be reducing his defenses as well. So it's really a difficult boss because timing really is everything. I'm not going to place timestamps for him just yet because I don't know the specific timings for him, but just note that you can get very granular with the way you're fighting this boss. And we'll show like the auto team that I was running, like based off of like the CN teams. It was actually pretty good, surprisingly enough. He should be turning into a tree right now, so you don't want Makoto to do her thing from actually dealing damage to him. And you should be, oh god, dang, did he turn into the tree? Dang, dude. All right, don't do that whatsoever. That's just missing out on like 900k damage right there easily. Okay, we did like 900k, but we could have dealt like 960 or something. Let's go ahead and show the auto team because better damage when it comes to it. Personally, I don't like this auto team because this auto team will prevent you from running the other teams, like the normal June Saren team. So this is the comp, right? And it specifically wants you to run this one. I tried like running different sort of things, like where I removed Saren, because Saren is essentially a key component to, you know, the June Saren comp. You don't even have to run Shori, you could run Suzuna for all that you want to. But yeah, it's just really crazy. Like this team specifically, it just has the timings down, and just know everyone is 5-star. I don't have like Makoto at like 9.5 where she's missing the left piece of gear, but for the most part, it's still going to deal like 1.1 million. I've already like ran this team before, and I was just like really impressed at how well it did. I know some folks will be like, well, I sort of want to figure out a better auto team. I'm pretty sure it exists. Like, I'm pretty sure there is a team that doesn't require, you know, running Carol and running like some of these units, but I have to say I was really impressed with this auto team, and I really need to understand this boss. I just wanted to showcase this guide in case some folks were essentially sort of curious on what sort of teams to run and what teams actually work. We'll update this as time flows. We are only in lap 1, so most of the team comps in lap 1 don't work out as well for lap 2, but just note this boss was tested for lap 2 and it does perform decently well. So you can see that everything is going relatively well. We're already at the 900k zone at like the 10-8-second mark, so we're easily going to score over a mil, and that's why this team is recommended. I know some folks are probably wondering, why don't you just run like the other team on auto? Let's go ahead and do that just so you guys can see like the significant damage reduction that you get for running like that other team on auto. So a key component to this specific like boss is going to be Shinobu, and then we'll showcase the other teams for like Leo and Bear, because I feel like those are like the other teams that you sort of want to see in case you want to run it on like auto or manual or what have you. And you know me, I generally like to run my teams on auto just because it prevents like more rooms to mess up, because when you run stuff on manual, there's definitely, you know, huge rooms for error. And as you can see there, like Shori, you know, she technically just missed that shot right there. And some of you are probably wondering, is it worth to lose like that bit of damage in order to run the June Saren comp for the other team, which is going to be Leo? Personally speaking, I feel like it's more important to deal heavy damage to Leo because you're going to be stuck on Leo the longest. So, you know, saving your best teams for the last boss is going to set you apart from any other clan. So personally speaking, I feel like that's just the way to go. It's up to you how you relatively want to approach that, but I really don't recommend, you know, running the June Saren comp too early, because you can even run the June Saren comp for the Beowulf dude, and you can run it for Leo, you can run it for Griffin, I believe. So there's just a bunch of like ways that the June Saren comp is just much better. And as you can see here, we're doing all right damage. heck, this might even be better than my manual play, but I feel like my manual play will be slightly better, like 100k over. So at best, we're probably gonna deal like around 800 absolute best. So this is actually pretty good for an auto team, like, you know, this specific run. Usually like my runs are around 750, but the other run that I did, which was manual, was around 900, and we'll show my personal logs after. So let's go ahead and do this trial run for bear, just so you guys can get a glimpse of what I'm personally going to be running. Now this team, I believe, works on lap 2 as well. Now the biggest carry, of course, is going to be Tamaki, because Tamaki is going to be reducing the amount of times that this boss, you know, does his human burst, and the UB on him is pretty powerful, I'd have to say. So the more time that you can essentially like stagnate from him actually dealing that big raw damage right there, the better. And just note that Tamaki is going to be a key unit for the new EX dungeon. We'll probably do like an EX dungeon guide like a little bit later, or just show like my runs on him. But for this week specifically, I want to focus on clan battle more so than anything else, but we'll definitely be doing that a little bit later. Now this team specifically, it runs like around 1 mil like sometimes, and then sometimes it runs around 900. Now this is obviously on lap 1. On lap 2, your damage will probably reduce by 100 to 200k, but I would feel like this team like suffices for the most part. And the reason why I have like this specific comp, like Kokoro, Mitsuki, you know, Kaori, and everyone here, is mostly because the June Saren comp, you know, it requires Saren, it requires like Shori and all that stuff. As much as I want to run an Archer comp, the double Archer comp for Kabuki to deal more damage, I feel like this team is definitely good enough for bear in the current situation. I'm sure there's a team that exists that can deal like probably like 1.2, 1.3 mil, but I'm relatively happy with hitting a mil on the bear boss for lap 1. We'll do more refinements as we get to lap 2. I don't think that was a bad team right there. And then let's go ahead and jump into Leo. And then this is going to be the classic June Saren comp, which is, you know, coveted. Well, not the best comp, but the best like overall cookie cutter comp, right? There's definitely way more comps that are much better than this. This is the one that's easy to run and works relatively well on most of the bosses. And yeah, so this is going to be Leo. I like how he looks. Definitely reminds me of a Lion King sort of scenario. It has like that little cliffside where like Simba and stuff. Well, I thought there was a cliffside. I think like when he moves, you can see it, but that's like the first thing that came to mind when I saw this, was like, oh, this is Lion King, except like it's like that burning part. And I like how he does like that little lasers right there. And for auto, like I feel like this is really good damage, because I was running some other stuff before. I'll show my personal logs with all the different teams that I was playing with. And just note, this is all like day 1. So we're doing a lot of experimentation before we jump into lap 2, because lap 2, it's an entirely different beast. And that's where, you know, everyone's going to figure out like the better teams and whatnot. So this is going to be like Saren, June Saren comp. It's relatively solid. We're already at like the 800k mark, around 20 seconds. And I think the biggest carry is just the fact that June is like keeping everyone alive. So you can see here, we are doing well. We should hit like around the 1.2 million area, because that was the damage that I dealt earlier. So yeah, that is it. This is Lion King, Simba. You can see it like right there in the background, right? This is like the Lion King scene. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny to like sort of look at. So if you go into my personal logs right here, and then you go into my trial runs, you can see here I was playing with like different teams. Look at like the magic comp. I tried to run it for Kabuki. It was just relatively sad. I know it wasn't ideal, but that damage was just not there. Maybe I'll try running it for bear a little bit later. Here's going to be some more Kabuki comps. This is what I was expecting. 780, 800k damage was actually pretty cool. And then here's like more 906k. I did like do this one in manual. I don't think it was worth it to run double Archer comp for this one. And then here's like Mad Bear. You can see like June comp was doing relatively well. And then here's like the Kokoro comp that I ran earlier. I feel like I could definitely replace that one, maybe refine it a little bit better. And then here's like a Hiyori comp that I tried to run for Leo. It didn't work out as well as I thought it would. Maybe on lap 2 it would be a little bit better. And then, you know, June Saren comp that you just saw earlier. So these are all the comps that I'm personally running. I know there's going to be better ones that will, you know, pop up. We'll see as like how time pretty much flows. And yeah, so just be careful when it comes to Kabuki. Don't hit him while he's in that log form. And when you jump into his details, there's a specific part where you can deal additional damage to him whenever he lowers his own defense. So look out for like this specific skill. That is probably going to be like the most important one to deal damage on if you want to maximize him. I feel like he's going to be the boss to master for this specific clan battle. If you can can take him down in the least amount of hits, he's probably going to be key. And obviously Beowulf is going to have some weaknesses, but he's going to be the key fight. And then Leo, of course, because you're going to be spending a lot of time on Leo. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. If you want my opinions on Summer Suzume, we'll do it later, but you really shouldn't pull. And then once we hit 25,000 subs, we're doing a giveaway. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Good luck on June Clan Battle.